Well, hello there, and welcome to It's a Dog's Breakfast, a cooking channel. Today, we are going to do cod and potatoes in a casserole. Sounds interesting. I had a very similar dish a few years ago when I was in Portugal. Very fancy dish, very fancy event hosted at a castle overlooking the Atlantic, and it was wonderful. The Portuguese really know how to cook their cod. I mean, they should. They've been taking them off the Grand Banks of Canada for hundreds of years, along with many other countries as well. But they did a superb job. Tonight, what I'm going to do, small casserole, going to have some potatoes as a base, some mashed potatoes, and those have just finished cooking now, and they're on the stove. We're going to make the mashed potatoes in a moment. And then, of course, we have our cod. We have some onions. You know my affinity to pearl onions, but I may not use them all. A little bit of butter for the sauces. We have some Parmesan cheese, Old Bay, one of my favorites with fish, cayenne pepper just to bring it up a notch, but not very high, and then some cream. It's actually half and half. You can use whole cream if you want, or even milk, really, if you want. It's just something to bring out the flavor. So let's get those potatoes done. We're going to strain them a couple of times. We're going to put a little bit of butter in with them. We're going to mash them. Now, the interesting thing about potatoes when you're cooking them, as with everything else in cooking, it really depends on surface area. So I like to slice my potatoes when I know that they're going to be mashed. This means that every potato gets the same amount of boiling water and the same amount of cooking. Those who cut them up into chunks and boil them normally have to do it for a little bit longer for the temperature in the inside of the potato to heat up. That's my theory anyway, and I'm not changing it. All right, these are mashed up rough the way I like them. You may like them a lot smoother. I like them a little bit rough. I'm going to put them into the casserole dish now, and they'll be the bed for what we put on next, which is in fact the codfish and sauce. Okay, I'll just tamp that down a bit. There we go. Bob's your uncle. A British expression that we brought, that we have in Canada as well. All right. Turn up the heat here. This is going to be the sauce and the place where the onions get cooked up as well. How many should I put in? I don't know. I think about half of that. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit more than half looks good. I put those all in the bowl because that's what was left in the bag. Well, hate to disappoint, but there you go. We'll let those fry up for a couple of minutes. Some of you out there may be Canadian and may have heard about kissing the cod. It's a Newfoundland tradition where you drink screech, and then you have a cod, and you have to kiss the cod. Believe me, the mouth of the cod is not cute, but it's a tradition. I said screech. What's screech? Well, screech is the leftovers of rum barrels. So it's rum, but when it's barreled, it absorbs into the wood. When they use the rum and bottle it, then you have screech barrels left. You can buy those barrels. What people do is they pour hot water in it. They cap it up. They give it to the kids to play with. So that hot water runs all around inside the barrel. And they pour it out. And they bottle it. That's screech. That's the original screech. All right, those are coming along nicely. I'm just going to put a little bit of Old Bay in there. Whenever I do fish, I like to have Old Bay. Fish, shellfish, as you wish. Not a whole lot. And I'm going to put some cayenne in too, just to kick it up a notch. Although it doesn't have much heat in it, my personal opinion, it's mostly color. All right, that's coming along quite nicely. There are some foods that just accept other ingredients rather readily. And one thing that fish accepts is lemon oil. And that's what I'm going to put in right now. Just about a tablespoon. You can do it fresh, you can do it out of the bottle. It's up to you. It's your lemon oil, it's your dish. You can do as you wish. All right, those onions are just about done. And now I'm going to put in the fish. Now we're going to bake this fish when we put it all together. We're going to bake it for 12 to 15 minutes, depending on the sizes you've cut and so on. So it doesn't have to be totally cooked here in the pan, but it should be probably about 3/4 cooked, I would say. And that's fairly easy to do. So we're going to let that cook away and I'll be back in a minute. Welcome back. We're ready to finish this up now. Now we're going to put in what for me is half and half, what for you might be whole cream or even milk. It's up to you. Yeah, that's about a cup. It'll take it a while to warm up. Oh yeah, looking good. What we're going to do is we're going to start that to boiling a bit. Meanwhile, I'm going to take the cod pieces and move them onto the potatoes. Well, the cod pieces and the onion. There we go, looking very, very nice. Oh yeah. Remember, in cooking, it's whatever you want to do. The amounts, the variants, the amount of cooking time, it all takes practice, but it's really what you want to do. This is not baking. Baking is exact. If you have instructions for baking, pay attention. Cooking a meal with meat, potatoes, fish, poultry, pork, you have free license. You can do as you think is best. That's why on the internet you'll find so many recipes for the same darn thing. Okay, I'm just going to smooth that out. That's looking good. And I am going to just put that sauce on right now. Looks great. Let me just take a shot of this so you know what it looks like. A little bit of our meal tonight. And here's you watching me. Now, we're just going to put on the Parmesan cheese and then we'll be done. Except for the cooking, of course. This is probably 1/3 cup Parmesan cheese. Just even it out. It'll be fine. The whole world will be fine. And that is our cod and potato casserole. I'll show it to you again when it comes out. And there we have it. A little bit of wonderfulness with cod and potato all put together in a casserole just for me.